Act Natural is an installation of 6 videos that are all showing processes that are being constantly made and then unmade, and also illusions that are being created, revealed, and then destroyed. Many of the processes or the illusions that we're showing in some way mimic the processes that a camera itself does. So in some ways we're creating the blur of out of focus outside of the camera itself, or the zoom, or the bleaching out of something using light through movement, or the extremes of light that we expose the camera to. The videos are not documentation, they're a setup, and they're made by us working together and performing together using the camera. The title, Act Natural, is like a direction, but it's also an oxymoron, and it's an impossible request. There's no such thing as acting natural. So we're really interested in how the works can be choreographed, yet at the same time unchoreographed.
They're not projected in a standard way. In fact, they're generally projected in such a way that they work in more like a video installation. We often project the videos onto an object or use some kind of prop which relates to the meaning of the work itself.
Some of them are projected on screens and some are projected on objects, but the way that each is displayed in some way refers back to the subject of the video. One of the videos is of a table in a museum that's filmed from directly above. It's initially filmed in real time as the table's positioned under the camera and centred, and then on interval record, which is filming 2 seconds every 10 minutes over the space of 3 days and nights. So we watch the light change over the time and the light from a window pass across the table, as well as other glimpses of everyday interaction with the table. Another work is called Mineral Water, and it's the reflection on a cafe table of some leafy trees outside a window. And at first we're unsure of what we're actually looking at until the table is sprayed and cleaned, and the image is broken. At that point we realise that it's a table in a cafe we're looking at. One of the other videos is of some sun paper, which is a light sensitive paper that's often used by school children. We're making the image of a leaf on the paper in a garden using sunlight to process and the water in a pond to develop it, and we watch the sun paper change with no editing. Another one of the videos is the full process of a sunbed, and the camera trying to deal with the UV light from the sunbed tubes, and because it's struggling to deal with that intensity of light, it sort of appears to radiate and pulsate. The work behind us is called Sugar Paper, and that is a video of some sugar paper being moved around on a table. This is again filmed from directly above, and we've decided to project that down on top of a table with the sugar paper on it, so it becomes unclear about which is the real sugar paper and which is the projection. There's a video called Museum Light that is of a hanging globe pendant light hanging in a museum. This video is a sometimes still and sometimes very erratic, chaotic video that zooms in and out and moves in and out of focus. This was made with a really deliberately clumsy use of a tripod, and is projected on top of the museum light itself.
Although we were taking this really experimental approach to making the work, we also had a number of kind of parameters, or a number of quite specific things we wanted to look at. One of those was to do with ideas about natural and artificial. in relation to light especially. And I think the sunbed video is a good example of how we worked with natural and artificial. We started thinking about how the camera found it really difficult to capture the light from the fluorescent tubes. So we sort of worked with that and pushed that so you could actually see the camera having problems and how the camera responded to that. But then we were also thinking about how it just happened that the sunbed itself looked like kind of a sunrise or something, and made that relationship between natural and artificial light. And also, that's another good example of how we wanted to show our own presence in making the film. And it wasn't just a demonstration of how this thing looks really interesting, but it also showed how our part in making it.
It's not performance to camera in the traditional sense. We see it more as being a performance with a camera, where the camera is an active prop in making the work and the performance of making the work. We are really interested in ways that we can show that we are creating an effect and in that way performing whilst using the camera, and show that in the final outcome of the video. And at the same time, we're interested in how people react to being in front of a camera, whether that be the artists making the work or the subjects of the video. We're also interested in how the camera itself performs, and in a way the camera's performing and the objects that we film are also performing. The camera's performing in a way that we subject it to certain circumstances. It's reacting to the circumstances we're putting it under, and the same with the objects. They're doing what we're sort of forcing them into a situation where the objects are performing for the camera.